Welcome to the tape deck where we deal only with the golden era of hip hop. And that's right, you should already know by now 90s hip hop. We're going to get into the music, the fashion, the feel, the style, the culture, and of course the sound. And remember, we're not just your hosts, we are your new 90s family. I'm Money Carson.
And I'm Cash, only J, and we're gonna talk about Death Row Records today. So
Yeah,
we're gonna give y'all some insight on some facts, some feelings, and we're gonna kick this thing off with Money Carson and push right on through and have a good time with this
let's get
thing.
into it. Death Row, So, off the rip, 92, they signed their deal with Interscope. They was on Interscope till 97. In 97, they jumped ship and went to Priority. I don't really know why, but that's just the facts. Fun fact about Death Row. If you take their five top albums all together, dudes is 23 times platinum. That's crazy. 23 times platinum. You realize what type of money we talking about? They had Dr. Dre, they had Snoop Dogg, they had the Dog Pound, they had Warren G, they had Lady of Rage, they had Nate Dogg, and then later on down the line they snatched up the one and only Tupac. They made over 100 million in 1 year at once. I think that's what got the feds all over them, all crazy. But they definitely made 100 million in 1 year. The Dog Pound album, Dog Food, went two times platinum. Uh, Pac's album, All Eyes on Me, Diamond,
Damn.
Diamond. We on. I don't know what number we on, but we did quite a few podcasts, and I think that's the first time we brought up somebody going diamond.
You know, I'm gonna dig deeper into it. Before Death Row was Death Row, they were Future Shock and Suge Knight had vision. Um, he wanted to get with Interscope, and he saw something bigger. And the crazy thing is, when they were Future Shock, um, it was like, okay, he wanted to get into this game because he had started off with NWA as like a bodyguard, and he was like seeing all this stuff, and like, when people view Suge Knight, they view him as a thug, and this like this presence, this negative presence. But in all, man, Suge Knight is like educated. He's actually a professional football player with a college degree from UNLV.
Did he go pro or did he just play college?
No, he played pro with the Raiders, and he actually got cut. He's just a little too wild. He had this point here that he wanted to make with like street politics. He always wanted to involve his people. He's from Compton, so and I get it, but all in all, man, he could have really had the industry, by the cojones if he really, just kind of stepped away from that. You know what I mean? Because when you're doing that, you can't get your hands dirty, and it is bring a lot of drama. But in that vision, man, he took Dr. Dre, and Dre went, took his game to another height. They found Snoop. They had DLC before he had his accident.
I forgot DLC.
They had Jewel, who was really actually the first lady of Death Row.
They had the other lady too with the high pitched voice. Michelle.
Yeah, they took her from NWA. They were all priority already. I think that was the reason why he wind up going over the priority, because it was like MCs that was like under contract, and made it easier when he started taking those artists from NWA. And I just wanted to kind of interject a deep dive, because the stuff that Money Carson was saying was that was like surface stuff. You know what I mean? So Death Row, man, the empire is just like crazy, man. If you like really sit and look at it, they have so many documentaries and segments on it, man. And you could get lost in it. I'm not gonna lie. Even before we started this podcast, I got lost in it, man. Just like you know,
They were the staple of West Coast music off the rip.
yeah,
Would you agree? Other
I
than
agree.
NWA. NWA put it on the map heavy, but Death Row definitely took it to a different plateau, I think.
They did because it was like, in that vision, man, Suge Knight got that talent and he put it together and it was family. And even though it went left, those couple of years, man, like you said, man, they made 100 million
In a year.
In a year. Like that is crazy.
Oh, you know what? We forgot your favorite Death Row artist, bro.
Was that Foxy Brown? Oh,
She wasn't on Death Row. They had Vanilla Ice.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
had
He
Vanilla
wasn't
Ice.
he wasn't one of my favorites, but he
How
definitely signed.
about when allegedly Suge Knight hung Vanilla Ice over the balcony like Big Red from the Five Heartbeats? We get into that. We get into that.
Well, you know what, man? When you look at it, when I hear that story, I always. You ever see that movie, The Program?
Absolutely.
Remember when the guy said, "Man, you're looking at a big black 230-pound piece of pissed off Negro." That's what I think about when I hear the Suge Knight story with Vanilla Ice, and Vanilla Ice never denied any of it either. That's the funny part.
Because
Like,
it
he's
probably
like,
happened. If that didn't happen, something like that happened. You said he put a lot of street ethics into it. He definitely put street ethics into the music, but to be honest with you, it worked.
Right.
It worked for the most part. They had total dominance throughout the 90s. Even when a lot of the big East Coast acts started popping off and leveling up and all of that, Death Row was relevant all the way until the end, to be honest with you. They dropped what? They had Regulators. That was Death Row. Pac had at least 2 or 3 albums over there on Death Row that were dope, went platinum. All Eyes on Me.
Machiavelli.
Machiavelli was on Death Row. There's another one on Death Row too.
To the end of time.
Who?
Till the end of time.
That was the one after he died?
Yeah.
I don't count that album. I don't count
Yeah.
that album. Nah. I don't do those post. What are they called? Mortem?
But you know what? That's not inside of our bracket anyway. That was dropped in 2000.
There you
so
go.
you're right.
Boom. Yeah, let's stick to these.
Cut that.
90s.
Fuck that shit.
Let's jump into some of these videos, man. Off the rip, video that pops directly into my brain when I'm talking about Death Row is Regulators. Mount Up. That video was ill. That video was ill to me, number one, just because of the song. Like, I wasn't really in the story rap when I heard that. I really wasn't trying to hear stories. I was just trying to hear, hot shit. But the story that they told about almost getting jacked and Nate Dogg saving it, the way they went back and forth between the rapping and singing. Because, look, if you really think about it, back then, you either rapped on the verse and sung on the hook. There was nobody going back and forth rapping and singing bar for bar.
Right.
They broke it down into 4 bars.
Shouts out to
apiece.
Nate Dogg.
Yeah, Nate Dogg. R.I.P. Nate Dogg. He killed that record.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite videos. Like, I'll never forget the imagery they used. How every now and then they showed some of the story. You know what I'm saying? That was hard.
I think like a couple, maybe the last show we did. My favorite videos from them were like the Snoop Dogg, the early on the
Pick one.
deep cover. That was like one of my first favorite Death Row, like solidified Death Row joints. And then it was the soundtrack, like that was the soundtrack that really made Death Row into like
That definitely made Snoop a superstar.
It did.
And it definitely put a spotlight on Snoop, which put a spotlight on Death Row. Absolutely, I agree.
Right.
I got another one though. Snoop too.
Okay.
Gin and Juice.
Yeah.
Gin and Juice. He was getting his hair braided in the video. He was riding on the front of the bike. Everybody, if you're from the hood, everybody rode on the front of the bike. You know what I'm saying? You at one point in your life. If you didn't, you ain't from where you say you from.
Right.
That one was hard. I think then they have the drive-in movie theater and all of that. Mm-hmm. That was just showing you like what we doing out here. So that was one of my favorite Death Row videos from Death Row too.
Right.
Got another one?
Again, going back to Snoop Dogg, man. It's a doggy dog world. I like that one, and that's probably clearly my favorite one because You had the Delphonics. You had Dre.
Delphonics.
Yeah, you had Dre. You know what I mean? He was 40th Saint Black, and to my recollection, Daz and Corrupt, they had their own. Everybody had their own little character. I think Dre was 40th Saint Black. You had Corrupt was little something from Philly, and then Corrupt was another one. But and then they had Rerun in the video. He was pop locking.
I remember that.
And then what's the cat? He passed away. Ricky Harris. Ricky Harris. He was the MC. He kind of set it off, and they was just so cool, man. So I like that vibe and that flow that they had. So,
let's do one more. Man. My third is California Love. That's my third.
Yeah,
that whole video was crazy because in that era, I'm lying. I got a tie in third. California Love and Two of America's Most Wanted. I'm gonna tell you why. California Love because at that time, all the videos I was watching is just niggas rapping.
Right.
You know what I mean? You had the occasional acting scene here and there, but it was just niggas rapping. Regular clothes, we getting fly, whatever fly was in your area, your demographic. But in that one, they put the war suits on. They was in the desert. They really went all the way into character. To me, that was next level.
That Mad Max film.
Yeah, the Mad Max joint. And then you got to go with Two of America's Most Wanted because that was the first big time we saw Snoop and Pac together.
Right. Gangster.
On the record, going back and forth.
That was definitely Gangster.
Yeah.
He was G'd up in that one.
You got a third?
My third would be I Ain't Mad at You. And it was just crazy. Like Pac was like speaking everything into existence. Like, you know what I mean? He didn't pass yet when I think the video dropped before he passed, but it was like, how he could see himself in heaven with Red Fox and all these entertainers, and then a couple months later, boom, he's gone.
He spoke it into existence, like you said. Look at Biggie's album, Ready to Die, Life After Death, gone.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. That whole little time, man, just is so deep. There's so much drama, man. So we'll segue to that later on, but
let's get into some verses. Let's do 2 verses so we can get to what you want to get to too.
Okay.
My first verse, Pain, Tupac, Above the Rim soundtrack. They never take me alive. I'm getting high with my 4-5 cock. Though these suckers time to die. Even as a youngster, starting ruckus on the back of the bus. I was a fool all through high school, kicking up dust. He bodied that. I want to see your pain. Your pain? Share it with me. You know what I mean?
Yo, when that track drops, it just gets you. It gets you going.
Yeah.
As some of my Caucasian brothers out there, man, it gets you guys going.
It's provocative.
It's one of those things, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you guys want to, drop that like, hit the subscribe button, check us out, man. Show us some love. All races, all backgrounds. Man, we love the support. This is all for you. But my verse would be the second verse on Pain, where his partner, rest in peace, I forget the guy's name, man. It should be in my notes, but I don't have it, and I'm being honest. But Big Psych, that's right. Years and years lived that rough, like yada yada yada. You already know, cause you the rhyme guy. But his shit was hard.
You killed that. That could be the remix.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know what, Big Psych, you're going. I'm up. So
I'm up. He said I'm up.
You know what I mean?
My second verse is Pac again. My ambitions as a rider. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. That first verse.
Yeah.
Like when the rap started, he was cooking that. Pac was getting busy. There's a meme about Pac out right now saying if the words enemy and some other words that rhyme with enemy weren't in the dictionary, then Pac would have never been popping. But that's so false. It's funny to chuckle at, but that's so false, bro. Ambition. If you don't know Ambitions as a Rider by Pac, listen to that. Hit these
Yeah.
comments and tell me he ain't body that.
Yo, if because
Even
you always got
Camry
some
did
haters, man. But
But even Camry did it. You had to redo
yeah,
it. You know what I'm saying?
look, man, Pac was just, and like at the time when everything was going on, I wasn't about what he was on. Like I'm like, yo, why is he? But deep diving into the specifics that was going on and why he strategized and did what he had to do. I get it, man, because you know what I mean. It was like, like, all eyes on me and it's me against the world. Everything he's saying is basically what was happening in his life. But I'm gonna go into another verse. My joint is off the Above the Rim soundtrack. When Snoop was like, I forget the name of that damn song. Should be in my notes. Sorry. Do you love them hoes? Hell no. Why is that? Because I'm not Snoop Doggy
Yes.
Dogg.
Yes.
Da, da,
I
da,
know
da,
what
da,
you're
da.
talking
You
about.
know you're the verse guy. Yeah.
Nate Dogg was on that too.
Yeah.
Yep, I know you're talking about.
Yo, help us out. Well, help me out with that. Because when it comes to these lyrics, like, Money Carson, he's that guy. Me, I'm a fuck up. I will sit here and tell you, I'll hum the harmony, I'll say the first two words, and then I'm like, I'm going.
I know
man.
exactly what song
It's like a
you're
young
talking
boy's
about.
first sexual experience. I'm done.
I know exactly what song you're talking about.
Ladies,
What
please
was it
don't.
called? It actually was
offended.
called.
I'm just saying, man.
Wow, I didn't realize Regulator was on the Above the Rim soundtrack too. Suge was making sure his boys ate.
Suge was not playing, bro.
It was called Big Pimpin'.
Big Pimpin', yes. Do 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 do. Yo, he was not playing, and he was like trying to coerce Pac back then. He put him in a movie, and he was like, "Yo, man, lead them suckers, man. All that, what is it? I get around and all that happy rap. Nah, man, you need to be with us, the road.
Suge was definitely brilliant. I got a question for the listeners, right? What death row artist, in your opinion, made the biggest impact and was the biggest staple in making sure people knew death row?
I'll answer that for them. Danny Boy.
Crickets.
Everybody's looking at me like, Danny.
It has to be Pac or Snoop. Or
I think
Dre.
it's Pop.
Or Dre. What do y'all think? Multiple choice. Is it Pac, Snoop, or Dre? Snoop's had the longest career. Dre's had the longest career because Dre was on before Snoop.
Right.
Snoop is probably the most recognizable, famous rap artist in the world, though, to be honest with
Facts.
you. My son is 8. If he saw Snoop, he would know who Snoop was.
Yeah.
His grandmother is 60-something. If she saw Snoop, she would know who Snoop is. You feel what I'm saying? But then you got Pac, too. Pac is Pac. You don't got to explain that.
Yo, Pac is like, I don't want this to be like because I think, but Pac is like a firecracker or an explosion. Like he's 4th of July, bro.
He's Pac. All right, we're not gonna do clothing or TV shows this time. We're gonna get into real events, historic, monumental events. And when it comes to death row, there's one historical event that took place in 1995 that you cannot talk about death row without talking about this event. You want to take it away, Cash Only?
Yeah, man. And it was definitely money time, and it was an opportunity for Suge Knight to, show the world exactly who he was. So, everything's going on, man. Wu-Tang's getting awards, Big's getting awards, Snoop's getting awards. And then all of a sudden, you see this big-ass motherfucker. He looks like, yo.
The Kool-Aid guy.
Yeah, he looks like the Kool-Aid guy and like somebody that's not supposed to be there.
He looked like a black version of the Big Show.
Yeah. Like he's like, you ever watch your kids when they little and they're trying to like put the puzzle together and they're like putting, them big ass pieces and they're putting the wrong piece in. He looked like the wrong piece getting up there and he's like, yo, if you don't want if you want to be in your videos by yourself and you want to be in the songs and you don't want the producer to jump in.
Dancing all in your videos.
Yeah, he knows the words.
Yeah, he said, if you don't want your producer and your executive dancing all in your videos, come on over to Death Row. Yo, that set the world on fire.
And I remember watching it, and I'm like, yo, who the fuck is he? Pardon my French, but anyway. Yo, who is this guy? And I'm looking at, like, Wu-Tang in the audience, and they shot Puffy, and he's like...
Yeah, Puff was like...
sinking in his seat.
Everybody was uncomfortable because ain't nobody expect that to happen because nothing had happened leading up to that. At least nothing had happened in the world's eyes leading up to that.
Right.
He just came out, and I guess, I mean, when you think about it, it was brilliant because it's like it turned up the magnifying glass on Death Row. Well, who are you? What are you doing? What makes you better than everybody else? He said that, and then that's when Snoop came up. Y'all don't got no love for the dog.
Right. And it was in New York, and it was like...
That's what I was about to say. You imagine how much heart that took to go on that type of rampage and rant in the middle of New York. I could see if you was in Cali. But y'all was in New York, meaning there's nobody else that could come help you. Whoever you flew out there with, that's who you got. And you had every New York hip-hop group and entourage in the crowd.
And because I'm not trying to open up old wounds, and I don't want nobody calling up here and be like, yo, motherfucker, East Coast, West Coast, but yo, niggas got punked. Flat out. Like, it was like, yo,
That's Cash Only's opinion and not the opinion of Money Carson or the Tape Deck Show or leader of the Pack Productions.
Please don't hit my Instagram and don't hit my Facebook. I got emotional and excited for the second. So just understand, man, I got love for both sides. So, Temecula, California, I love you. Oakland, California, I love you. East Camden, New Jersey, I love you. New York City, I love you.
They do you think without that Source Awards thing, do you think the East versus West Coast beef gets to where it got to?
I think that that was an integral part of media.
The media definitely hyped it up.
I think it wouldn't have been that serious if social media was around, because you could have dumbed some of this down. But the way that Source and the Vibe and Word Up and Hip Hop Magazine was like, spinning it out there. It was like, yo, this is the way it is, and East hates West and West hates East.
I have the exact quote. Any artists out there that want to be an artist and want to stay a star and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer being all in the videos, all on the records, singing and dancing, come to Death Row. That's exactly what he said. Oh. If that wasn't a shot and a half, y'all niggas be taking subs on the internet. This nigga went in front of thousands of people and said exactly what he had to say. You gotta respect that.
Not just thousands of people, because it was aired.
Millions of people.
Yeah, millions of people. Yeah. And this was like a Friday night. I think it was a Friday night, if I'm not mistaken, because it was prime time and everybody was watching. It was like the whole world just stopped and was like, yo, did you see that big bald-headed motherfucker say that shit?
I got Snoop's quote too. He said, the East ain't got no love for Dr. Dre and Snoop. The East ain't got no love. Oh, he said it twice. Then he said, y'all don't love us? Y'all don't love us?
Yeah, he was boom.
He said, well, let it be known then. We know y'all East Coast. We know where the fuck we at. East Coast in the motherfucking house. Then a little while after, Puff got an award. Yeah. And he actually said, I'm the executive producer. A comment was made about a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
He said, but check this out. Contrary to what other people may feel, I would like to say I'm very proud of Dr. Dre, Death Row, and Suge Knight for their accomplishments. Was Puff trying to tap out, or was Puff being a real one?
I think he was being a real one from the simple standpoint is he knew how far it could have went. I think that...
But it went, because then in December 95, same year, that's when Dog Pound was shooting a video in New York, and the niggas shot up the trailer.
Right. Well, he was trying to stop it. He was trying to, stitch the wound up right there.
Yeah.
Because he could see where it was leading to. And I think people look at Puff as like, the la da da, hey, party time guy, but he was being strategic in, trying to, dummy everything down and like, make sure everybody's, making money, especially in his camp,
Right.
But, Suge and them, man, they wanted it. Like, they really wanted it. Like, you could just see what they were dropping and, they was putting out. I was like, yo, man, we going to run with this thing.
I think it was more respect. I think they was looking for the respect that they didn't feel like they was getting. And again, I think it was because we didn't understand. It's like, we don't wear Chuck Taylors. Well, we didn't at the time. We don't wear khaki pants unless we going to church, nigga. Like, what is y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying? I think Suge Knight's move was a strategic move. I don't think he was definitely going in there like, let's beef with everybody. I think he was going in there just to shake the room up and get more attention on, well what's Death Row doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which was Suge. It was brilliant, to be honest with you.
Well, they was snatching the baton from NWA. You know what I mean? NWA was in demise, and Q was like kind of, doing the East Coast, West Coast thing. But, you know what I mean? He was like, just showing love really across the country because at that point, he was like, one of the top MCs. So I think that Suge, it was like, all right, you know what? We're Death Row. We're going to make a name for ourselves. You're a household name. We ready to grab Pac. And we ready to turn this thing all the way up. And we're going to use these dudes that right now selling all these records. And, you know what I mean? They think they on top. We going to just go on top of them.
Because they ain't have Pac at the Source Awards yet, right?
No.
Pac came in, what, 97?
Yeah, he came after. Well,
right.
They signed him when he was locked up.
You're right.
So that's why he gave that shout out. He said, Pac, keep your head up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yo, we riding for you. And again, we already had been corresponding with him like, yo, this is what the plan is. Like, yo, that was your man, Big. All right, we gonna use him. And we gonna this guy want to be party dude and all that. We gonna use him too.
Facts.
And anybody else that they get, and it's crazy because they was trying to sign a lot of the Death Row artists. I mean, a lot of the Bad Boy artists, including the Locks. Like, they went after the Locks back then, and I think Suge wasn't happy about them, making a decision to sign with Puff because Big was a big influence in that.
Right.
So, that whole thing is crazy, man. We could do hours and hours on this.
We might double back and do a whole segment on just the Source Awards and the impact of that specific Source Awards. And I know y'all probably got some Death Row moments, songs, videos, verses, or whatever that y'all love too. Drop them in the comments. So when we double back, we're going to touch on this different comments and subjects that y'all was talking about too. And don't forget my question, man. Who, out of Dre, Snoop, and Pac, who was the biggest brand under the Death Row brand? Who helped brand them the most? Want to take us out of here, Jay?
Yeah, man. Yo, you know what I mean? Yo, we love the support. We want y'all to subscribe. If you aren't subscribed, yo, hit that like button. Yo, hit our Patreon. What the?
Come on, brother.
I know. That's so unprofessional.
Good thing we don't work for Suge, nigga.
Yeah, I know. Like, yo, I'd probably getting DP'd in that booth over there. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't want none of that sauce or smoke. Listen, now, one-on-one maybe with a bat, but...
You forgot Suge hit niggas with a car.
Well...
We're talking about Suge.
I just wouldn't be out in the parking lot. I'd be... wait till he leave, and then I'll go in the parking lot.
Hey, I got one more thing before we get out of here. Turn on the Machiavelli album and turn it up real loud and tell me what you hear when you do that. You remember that?
Suge shot me.
Yeah. Tell me if you hear that or if we bugging.
So cool.
But listen, man, shout out the leader of the Pack Productions. Shout out to the man that makes it happen for you every week, for us every week, Mr. 2 a.m., a.k.a. the man with the face too easy to trace, a.k.a. your plug's favorite plug, a.k.a. the Red Wolf. I forgot how to say it in Spanish, but I'm going to look it up.
Oh, yeah. And, yo, check us out, 7 o'clock p.m. Thursday. 8 p.m. My bad. I'm being unprofessional. But I'm cleaning it up because the boss man's watching me.
Just catch that line again.
Yo.
Check us out.
Check us out. Yeah, check us out, 8 o'clock p.m. Thursday for our next segment, The DJ.
the DJ. Go DJ. Oh, that's
It's
my
your
DJ.
birthday. Is
That ain't
that?
how it go,
No,
bro.
that's not it. Oh, fucked up.
I'm the lyric guy. Catch you next week.